Hey all, here OS Reviews. In the past, we've taken a look at a number of tech education-based products, such as kits powered by microcontrollers like the Arduino Uno, allowing you to build things like robot cars, mood lamps, and they allow you to get started with programming and to dig deeper, tinker around, and create your own cool projects. So here's another example from Kano that uses a Raspberry Pi that allowed you to build a small computer or tablet. So today we're taking a look at yet another type of these projects. This is a collaboration between BBC, Doctor Who, and also Tynker, which is a brand that is making kind of the hardware for another small microcontroller. It's a competitor to something like the aforementioned Arduino, but it also has built-in Wi-Fi, has built-in Bluetooth on this little board that you can then write small programs using languages like Python, MicroPython, in addition to some special courses which have been designed just for this product, along with the Doctor Who theme. The entire thing is narrated, in fact, by the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker. So whether it's for kids or if you're just trying to get started with coding yourself and you want to take it one step at a time, this can be a good way to get started. Now, in terms of some other specs about this kit, as aforementioned, it has built-in Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. It's actually using a 150 megahertz RISC architecture-based processor. You can access the tutorials and the lessons from any computer just by visiting their site, and afterwards just pushing the code over to this little chip. Inside we have just a quick start guide along with the aforementioned hand-shaped mini computer. So we do have two A and B keys that you can use to also program to do different things, like change between menus, also if you're playing a game to navigate things. The entire construction here is made out of a polycarbonate plastic, aside from just a micro USB port on the top for linking it to your PC when you are trying to push code over, and there is also a reset button on the rear that also says BBC Doctor Who. Underneath the compartment here we do have access to the aforementioned battery pack that you can connect via this clip. This would allow the HiFive Inventor to operate even when you're disconnecting it from the micro USB, and it looks like 3 AA batteries. So a part of me does wish that it would use rechargeable batteries, but it is what it is. There's also a speaker, which is kind of a separate module that is actually detached from the main unit. In fact, the hand here is technically detachable from the shell, and you can make out a little bit more of the small computer or microcontroller really that is underneath, and we can even pop this out to see more about the board. So this is just in the, again, shape of a hand as opposed to the more conventional square that we see in something like the Arduino Uno. And we have the built-in Bluetooth and Wi-Fi along with the LED array. There's a 6 pixels by 8 pixels across, so not going to be super high res, but enough to show you some basic information. The 2 buttons that are built on in. There's a kind of light sensor that is the 150 megahertz processor, and turning the board around, you can also see everything is labeled, again, for educational purposes. You can see it's based on the RISC architecture, and you also see the accelerometer and the compass, which is built on in over here. So there is going to be some motion sensing, and the flash or the RAM is also located here. So pretty cool stuff. But one thing I am noticing is it seems like it doesn't connect by snapping in the speaker. Instead, I assume you would have to link the speaker using these pins at the bottom through alligator clips. That would be located in the final compartment here. So this is probably how you would manually link it up to the board, just by popping it onto these little holes, and then the other side probably just links up to the other end, so you don't have to physically remove this from the hand, but that would just link it together if you want to add a speaker in any of your programs and projects that you might want to try building. Finally, there is also a USB cable that it's included. It is a simple, again, micro USB. It's a pretty high quality cable as well that's constructed out of metal and also has LED light stripping on the sides, meaning when connected to a power source, it actually strobes, as you can see there, like power or electricity is flowing through, which is a pretty cool effect. If we kind of dim the lights here, you can see it a little bit better. So it's a lighted LED cable. Let's take a closer look at the website, which is simply HiFiveInventor.com, and you would then enter a redemption code printed on the user manual to then be able to create an account. You can set it up as a parent or allow access for a student, and once you're in, this is what the interface is like. And the first tab under dashboard just shows the Doctor Who themed courses that it takes you through, and these are all again narrated by the 13th Doctor. It will initially start with block coding, so similar to BYOB, it's drag and drop in terms of the code blocks that you would arrange, easier for kids to understand. It's a pretty fun and immersive way to get started, to be honest. Kind of similar as well to kind of a more interactive version of something like Coursera, for instance. If you've tried out any other online educational platforms, it will guide you through these steps one at a time, trying to build up your skills, going through tutorials, and then teach you how to do different things. Once you've completed many lessons, you'll be granted various points and see how long of a time you've taken to complete different challenges. It seems like there's up to 10 different lessons which are themed by Doctor Who, and in other tabs down below here, there's going to be MicroPython. So if you don't want to learn with the BYOB style drag and drop, you can also try out MicroPython directly. And then Glitch Manor is another one here, further builds your skills, although I believe this is no longer within the Doctor Who universe. More formally, there's also another tab here, which is Intro to Python, that is going to be more specific to teaching you this language and its documentation, its syntax, things like that. You can see the interface here is going to be a bit more formal and closer to something like Coursera. Not quite as fun as the other Doctor Who lessons. Alright, so if we kind of go back onto this main menu, some other things that you can take a closer look at include the second tab over, which is My Projects. This allows you to build more of custom things that you would want to do that's not restricted to just the courses and tutorials. And you can either use the block-based project, which is still drag and drop, or you can use MicroPython code, or something completely blank, or even full Python. So you can choose depending on your level and proficiency and what language you want to use, and then afterwards you can see that you can begin. So by default with the drag and drop blocks, it's simplified, but you can see things like you can set the display to do different things, for instance, light up the pixels in a different array, so you can create different animations and colors. Once it's turned on or the A or B button is clicked, you can see it visualized on the side, and then when you're done, you can actually set up and push it over to the board, and it will launch that command. You can see other things that you can try, including controlling the sensors, like the accelerometer, the compass. If it's pointing at a certain direction, do something like turn on. Other things that you can just try out one at a time, turning on Wi-Fi, connecting to password, connecting to Bluetooth, different events. So here we have the board connected, and you can see that it's turned on, and we've actually uploaded a snippet of a code that is just going to display Tynker Rocks, and you can see it just scrolling across the screen here in the pixel display. And of course you can use it as a bulletin board if you want to show other information. This is the simplest little project that you can try out. As far as uploading the project, again, you can simply use USB and then send it over, or you can also connect it using Bluetooth. So you can actually create projects on any mobile device like your phone or tablet, and then you can send that over to the Tynker board using Bluetooth. Now we're saying OS reviews. So that's more or less it as far as our hands-on review of the Doctor Who HiFive Inventor coding kit. Again, it's a nice education or STEM education-based product that allows you to get introduced to the basic concepts of programming. It's again a competitor to the likes of brands like Kano or some Arduino kits which are floating around. This one here just has a more polished interface thanks to the software part that has courses specifically designed and narrated by Doctor Who. So if you're into that, this might be kind of an interesting alternative to consider. You can check out more details if interested in the links down below. For now, that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.